Hello and welcome to the Freedom Stein Laboratory. Today is the 13th day of December. And I've got great smells going out in the kitchen there. My folks are coming over. We're doing an early Christmas because they go back to Iowa to be with the grandkids. So I'm doing prime rib today. I've got the cinnamon and cloves and nutmeg on the stove, making it smell really Christmassy. But I had to make a recording today because we had a lot of stuff happen over the past couple days. I have been watching so many things on YouTube. It's just amazing. So, first of all, the first thing I want to say is when someone tells you to stop asking questions, that's when you need to start getting suspicious. And all of the pressure for people to stop asking questions is just driving me crazy. These are people who all say that they supported Charlie Kirk. They were friends with Charlie Kirk. They are Charlie Kirk now. And yet they don't want you to ask any questions. But Charlie was always very clear that we should ask questions and that we should never stop asking questions. And he had a lot of his own questions, especially at the end. So when we have people that are asking things and throwing a lot of things on the wall, I don't look at that as a negative thing. I look at it as a positive thing. And we all need to be analyzing everything. I guess it's just been really mind blowing to me, everything that we've been through. And I'm 54 years old. So I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot of things and I've seen how much we've been lied to. JFK happened before I was born, but clearly we know the government lied about what happened there, along with the media. And it's continued through the years. 9/11, we've been lied to, media and government. It goes right down to things like the Black Lives Matter movement. Hey, don't believe your lying eyes. I know that they're burning buildings behind us, but it's really a peaceful movement. Me too. Every single man out there is just, raping women left and right. It's just men are horrible evil, especially if they're straight and white. I'm a gay woman and I love men. I don't have a problem with them. And I don't understand that whole idea of pushing all of that kind of thing. I guess I should be the one that mostly hates them out there. COVID was probably the most recent thing. Well, I don't know if I could say that because like Epstein was before COVID and then through COVID, and now we're still getting the Epstein. So that one might be kind of a mix all in there, but we're being lied to about that. And if you ask questions about that and want information, even the president that I voted for and that I believed in has told me that this is just a Democrat thing and it's a hoax and you need to just stop asking about it. And you're stupid if you want to know. And and then we get told things like Epstein killed himself without any proof of that. And he wasn't trafficking anything to anybody, even though we, went after him for trafficking, but he was just trafficking to himself. And Ghislaine was just trafficking to Jeffrey Epstein. And I mean, you just get tired of the lies. And then, of course, we all know everything that went through with COVID. And we even have more revelations that are just coming out like this past week about, yep, all these kids died and they knew it during trials. But hey, just look the other way and don't worry about it. So if we're suspicious about Charlie Kirk, there's probably a reason why. Because we've never been told the truth by any of these government institutions. And even when we put in people that we think we can trust, we know we can't. And how do we know we can't? Because when you put them in front of a camera, like Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, and they can look in the camera like they're looking at the American people and tell us, Jeffrey Epstein, we've looked at everything and he definitely killed himself. Here's some video. It's going to be missing some footage in it, but yeah, it'll show you exactly everything you need to see. It doesn't show us anything other than, I guess he was down in that cell block somewhere. I don't know. And I don't even know if that's his cell block. All right. So, what X was blowing up about last night was, oh my gosh, Megyn Kelly had that comic Dave Smith, that horrible anti Semite on with her. Oh, people, people, people. So if you criticize a certain country over in the Middle East at all, you're just anti-Semitic. And that has become, it's amazing to watch people on the right act exactly like people on the left. Jamie, what is it? Michelle Mitchell? I can't remember. I was following her for a while because, oh, she's another gay conservative and it's Gays Against Groomers. And I was very happy to be part of Gays Against Groomers. But now, I mean, she can't stop going after I mean, she's like a dog with a bone when it comes to Candace. She just jumps on constantly. And it's because Jamie is a Jew. And so if you do anything critical against a certain country, she's going to come after you. And I've completely lost respect for her. And then I was like, you guys really haven't gone after the whole Epstein thing either. So, Gays Against Groomer, I thought you were about children and protecting children from these predators and crimes like this. When it comes right down to it and the spotlight goes on you, you're full of crap. I'm so tired of people being full of crap. Just be who you are. On my previous episode, I talked about we had Tucker Carlson finally, after 3 months, come out and say something. We're still waiting on Megyn Kelly. And this got reiterated when she was talking to Dave Smith. Now, I'm very happy that she had Dave Smith on with her because it shows that she's not kowtowing to what she's being told to do. And she's been getting a ton of heat. And of course, Jamie ran right over there to go after Megyn and make sure that she knows what a vile person that she is and stuff. I wanted to play this particular bite from the interview that she was doing, or collaboration, whatever you want to call this, that she having Dave Smith on with her, because I have something I want to say about this. I haven't heard anybody else saying this. I'm willing to put money on this. So this is going to be the first place you've ever heard this, I think.
Of our lifetime during an active murder investigation. You're just out there lying about this. I was like
talking about
blown
Josh
away
Hammer
by that.
being a liar.
It's awful. I mean, I said this yesterday. I'll say it again today. I do have thoughts on what's happening now between Candace and Erika, and I will be sharing them very soon. And I have a very good reason for not sharing them yet, which will become very apparent to everybody when I do. But putting a pin in that for my audience and me. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. So Megyn said that before, that she has something to say about it, but that she was going to wait to do that. Reiterated it again last night. So after listening to that, I was like, there's two options here. Number one option is that she's on the side of TPUSA and she's going to join them for the December 15th, refutation, I guess is the word I would use, for the things that Candace has been putting out there. That they're going to go after Candace's stuff, and I don't know what they're going to do, because we know they've been lying. So I don't know, tell us more lies. And so I don't know, is Megyn going to join them in doing that? It's hard to know because she's very good friends with Tucker. She's not really friends with Candace that I'm aware of, but she's friends with like Dave Smith and a lot of people on that side of things. And she's definitely been playing, I'm in the middle. I'm Switzerland. I love everybody. I want everybody to love me. But she still tiptoes enough over in the Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens arena that people have been putting her over in that arena. So that makes me feel like she is kind of over there. So she wanting to jump in with TPUSA so that she gets back in their good graces. I don't know. So that's option number one. Option number two is she's going to have Candace Owens on with her. And I think it's going to be this next week. That's what that seems to indicate to me there, because there's two things coming this next week, possibly. The TPUSA thing we definitely know is happening, and Candace apparently isn't going to be joining them, but she is supposedly going to live stream their live stream and comment while she's doing it, or respond to it. I don't know how she's going to do that, but that should be coming next week. So next week is going to be major. But how about if you throw Candace Owens on Megyn Kelly's show next week too? Whoa. She says, for reasons that will be obvious. Okay. Those are the two reasons that would make it obvious to me why she wouldn't be commenting on it right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Now, I am leaning to that it is option number two, and I will tell you why. Because at the very beginning of her show yesterday, Megyn had her monologue. And she went through this whole thing about, she's been a lawyer, so she knows you can only put so much stuff out into the world before you have a trial. You don't want to put a lot of your investigation out there, whether you're the police, the FBI, because you don't want to hamper the case. So she's like, people who are calling for the FBI or the prosecution to put this stuff out there and show it to us and are demanding it, that's really not in their best interest. And that's not something that they normally do, nor should they be expected to do it. And anybody asking for that, she just was really kind of batting that down. So a lot of people were interpreting this as, oh, she is kind of not speaking to Candace, but kind of speaking to Candace and telling her, to stop asking these questions about that kind of thing. But then I saw something over on Candace's Twitter feed, or X feed, as they say. I'm always going to keep calling it Twitter. And what else do you say but besides that you're tweeting things? But I want to show something that she had to say yesterday on her Twitter that is making me think that what we have going on here is a number 2 option here, that Candace is going to be on with her. So let me just come on down her feed here, because somebody was trying to point out to her that this message was supposed to be for her. Okay. So here's what happened here. So first, let me put up this Allie Beth Stuckey, who is, I've said before, she's like that chick in the church that comes over and welcomes you into church. I just love your hair and your dress is so pretty. And then she goes over to her friends and goes, oh my God, did you see what she's wearing for her makeup? And I don't know if she's reading her Bible the way she should. And did you see her children? That is Allie Beth Stuckey. And I felt that way from the minute I saw her on TV. So here you can see Allie Beth has reposted Megyn Kelly, stop requesting or requiring the FBI or the DOJ to update its evidence for you. They're trying to preserve the integrity of this case. So she's like, I keep seeing people say, why is Candace the only one doing this or asking that? Why isn't the FBI doing XYZ? And I've always wondered, how do we know they're not? Good to see from an expert that the FBI keeping the public updated is not normal. Perhaps there's a different and more effective way to ask questions than to make accusations via a podcast series drip campaign. So then Candace reposted that and responded, nice try. But I agree with Megyn that it would be unusual for the FBI to send us updates. She's being sensible. You and many others are trying and failing to conflate people having 2 eyes and asking Turning Point USA questions about why they told pointed lies about various things with the pending court case. Turning Point leadership is not the FBI, and the public has every right to note their various lies and inconsistencies regarding what took place on 9/10. It's also our right not to believe the FBI thus far. To help you comprehend this, using your preferred BLM analogy, it was perfectly fine to question the BLM organization about their finances and corrupt leadership while believing the case against Derek Chauvin was corrupt without expecting the Minnesota DOJ to open up their George Floyd case file. We can walk and chew gum, Allie. I love that. So this is why, just this, nice try, but I agree with Megyn. She's being sensible. So when I saw Candace's response to that, because when I listened to Megyn saying that, I'm like, oh, is she going after Candace? Okay, so when she does come out, she's going to be totally anti-Candace. But then I saw that, and I went, Candace isn't taking it that way. And these two have been very supportive of each other on X for quite a few weeks here. And who came out with the video that revealed that indeed Charlie Kirk went up to Tucker Carlson before he spoke at the SAS event and told him to go max, go all the way, put it out there. I don't want you to hold back at all. Not only did Megyn put out that video because her assistant was taking that video, Megyn was standing right there and heard it for herself. She was standing with both of them. So she knew exactly what happened there. So when people were trying to come out and say, oh no, this isn't true, Charlie wouldn't have done that, she put the video out. She didn't have to do that. She didn't even have to step into the fray and say, hey, I was standing right there and I heard it. She is also the same person that Charlie came over to her and told her that he was starting to lose his footing there and was not as interested in being all pro whatever towards that Middle Eastern country anymore, and that he was getting a lot of pressure behind the scenes. So I'm going, I don't know. Candace and Megyn, they sound kind of like they're on the same team. And I know that Megyn is very good friends with Tucker. And Candace is very good friends with Tucker. And look, Candace has been sending her stuff out to other podcasters and people on the internet, just in case something was to happen to her. I'm sure she wants other people to look over stuff too. Is it possible that Megyn's one of those people that she's been sending stuff to? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm going to put my money on that Megyn Kelly is going to have Candace Owens on with her this next week. And that's why she's not commenting. We'll see if I'm right. All right. Erika. Okay. So she's out with doing the book tour thing. And I don't know if you guys have seen this particular video that's been going around. Today's the 13th. So they're going to have that town hall drop officially with Barry Weiss hosting for CBS, having Erika Kirk on. They've been putting all the clips out. So I'm like, guys, why are you even bothering to wait to put it out there? Because clearly you're just going to spoon feed it to us. So I don't understand. But anyway, you got to see this video that we get from one of the discussions, questions that we had here. So let me bring that up for you guys. And I mean, I've told you guys I host a show, another podcast that's about haunted history, and we talk about a lot of creepy things. And I also do the Ghost in You podcast where I talk about angels and demons and things like that. So I'm kind of aware of like demonic stuff. And I don't know how anybody, and I'm not going to play the sound on this. And let me turn the sound off on this, because what I want you to do is to just watch this without the sound. Okay. Right there. The demon takes over. All right, so let's go back and we will play it with the sound. But I wanted you to see that without the actual
the podcaster Candace Owens.
Words.
Okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
And let me just come back to where we do the little. We go from
at
the
one
smiling.
time, a friend of Charlie's. At one.
Okay, right here, just like I said, it's like, does that not look like something is like taking her over? Look at that. I mean, just look at this. This is supposed to be a gentle, Christian, kind woman. I mean, what in the hell are we looking at here? Just look at that. Watch her eyes. I mean, that's not just resting bitch face. That's like, I mean, I'm going to kill somebody with my, I don't know. I mean, just look at that. I mean, she's looking at Barry Weiss like she wants to eat her for dinner. Look, I said, I am done giving her the benefit of the doubt. Now I'm really done, because what is that? What did we just watch? If we were watching like something having some kind of demonic entity attached inside whatever, that to me looks like, and even if you don't want to go down the spiritual side, let's say you have a really scientific mind, Okay, that is like the multiple personality thing. And it's like, here comes the other personality out. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. What do you guys think? Look pretty demonic to me. The other thing that I wanted to bring up here is there were so many things that went wrong the day that Charlie was assassinated that were just basic things that could have been done, whether it was the security actually, doing their job so that he wasn't a sitting duck for somebody to peg him off on a roof. You just check a roof. Then when you totally screw up the one job that you had, perhaps you should give him some medical aid. I'll never understand why they even moved his body. First of all, we see no blood on their hands. So I don't think that anybody gave him any kind of first aid and stuck a hand in his wound and tried to clamp it off. The jackass who was his security head or whatever claimed that he did, but we didn't see any blood on his hands. And then before they even lift Charlie's body up, when you watch the video in slow motion, Brian Harpole, is that his name? He stands up before Charlie's ever lifted up. I don't know. Maybe he's the elongated man and he was able to reach all the way down there and continue to hold on to that wound. But if you did have your hand in his neck, clamping off the carotid or whatever, the minute you let go, you killed him. So the lies, the lies, the lies. So you've got that. Then I'm like, why isn't there an ambulance there? I've asked this on other episodes because, I would go to Taekwondo tournaments. We always made sure we had an ambulance there. This should have had an ambulance somewhere nearby. And we find out later that there were two paramedics that before they even got Charlie into the SUV were standing right there. You could see they've got their bags. They've got the medical insignia on the back of their shirt. They're there to help. And it's like, oh, no, guys, we don't need your help. Why would you wave off medical personnel? And I'll never understand, why did you move the body? Because let me tell you this, you getting from there to the hospital is going to take longer than the ambulance that might be a couple of blocks away is going to take to get there to where you're at. And right now, Charlie needs probably 2 bags of fluids being squeezed into him immediately. So how are you going to do that in the car? Now, I'll just say, I think Charlie was dead the minute he hit the ground. So I don't think any first aid type stuff or even calling 911 would have made any difference. But what we're talking about here is the principle and the idea of what you should do in an emergency situation. And the main thing is it proves that these people are lying about everything and that they really didn't give a damn about him because they certainly didn't take the measures that they should have, that if he had a possibility of living, that they could have helped him. So the fact that they even picked up the body and moved it, I was like, who the hell does that? Not to mention, you have no idea what neck injury he has. He could have been just hanging on the brink of, a spinal cord, whatever, major injury, and you made it worse. So I'll never understand the moving of that body. But I also will never understand how the hell nobody made a 911 call. And they're trying to tell us this lie that yes, oh yes, somebody did make that 911 call. Well, Sam Parker over on X is like, oh no. Charlie Kirk and the mysterious missing 911 call. Brian Harpole claims that they called 911 on the way to the hospital, but when they arrived, he says the hospital didn't know they were coming. Grandma requested all the 911 calls from September 10th, and Utah sent me 20 calls back. I was keenly interested in hearing this particular call. One problem, none of the calls were from the security team. Not only is there no record of this alleged call, but when you listen to Harpole and Frank Turek recount the hazardous hospital trip, you'll realize that it's extremely unlikely anyone in the SUV had the bandwidth or capability to make a 911 call. And he also points out here that call, should have lasted probably 1 to 2 minutes. Sorry, I need a little bit of a drink here. We're told that Mikey McCoy, as he's fleeing the scene, calls Erika Kirk. For me, the first phone call I would have made would be 911. There should have been so many 911 calls going out that 911 would have just blown up. How were there not a zillion calls to 911? And not even from the team that was right there and the security team that was right there? Sam is asking, what if nobody actually called 911? What if nobody notified the hospital? Because when they got to the hospital, they had no idea that they were even coming. What if it turned out that Charlie's life had hung in the balance over a few precious moments, given there was no way for any of them to know that it didn't? I find this an egregious oversight. I mean, it's just insane. Not only should that entire security team be fired, but to me, this is like just basic humanity. I would call 911 for a stranger. How are you not? Like somebody in the vehicle calling? Somebody on the ground calling? It seems like they were more worried about cleaning up the crime scene and covering something up. I don't know. But that's insane. Final thing I want to talk about, Nate over at Valhalla VFK. I've been watching his stuff. He came out against Candace's story with that Harry, who was the guy that was in the military that had to go into witness, or he was supposed to go into witness protection, but he didn't end up going into witness protection. And supposedly he went and wow, is that the government trying to shut me down? What's going on with my feed all of a sudden? What is going on with my camera? Hello. Let me stop my video for a minute and see if. There we go. Ooh, that was weird. Huh. Is that demons? Anyway, in the end, Nate said that, he's a Green Beret, was a Green Beret, and that a lot of this guy's story didn't check out for him. And that when he claimed that Brian Harpole was at that meeting with the lieutenant colonels or what have you, the military brass in Arizona, that he checked into that and he was not on the base. So basically the story is a bunch of BS. I'm kind of in the middle on it because a lot of the stuff that Nate pointed out, I went, well, it does kind of back up his story that he's not just pulling a bunch of nothing out of the ether. There were a lot of things that did line up for me. So I'm like, it's almost like he is supporting his story. But in the end, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what to believe about that. Candace didn't have a show last night, so we don't know. I don't know if she's been watching Nate's stuff, if we're going to get a response from her, more proof about who this Nate is and him really putting I mean, look, we're getting into some really deep, important, and controversial stories here. So now we really, really have to have some receipts and proof. So hopefully that will be coming the next week too. And we will see whether this Harry guy is just, writing a story for us, or if there's some truth to what he had to say and he put two and two together and there's something far more nefarious going on here than just some guy trying to protect his trans boyfriend or furry boyfriend or what have you. Interesting stuff. Love to know what you guys think about all of this. If you are liking what you see, please subscribe. Please hit the like button, share. I would absolutely love it. And I hope you guys have a great day. And look, we're having prime rib here later. If I could share it with everybody, I would.